Welcome to the 5S 101 course, offered by SmartLearn. The 5S 101 course is a foundational course aimed at introducing 5S to beginners. Lesson objectives. Understanding the 5 core phases of 5S, which include sort, set, shine, standardize, and sustain. Defining 5S. 5S is a structured process methodology that aims to create a visually pleasing work environment by removing clutter and creating order from chaos. 5S has its origin in Japan and evolved from the Toyota Production System, TPS, and lean manufacturing. The 5 stages of 5S include sort, or seiri, set, or seiton, shine, or seiso, standardize, or seiketsu, and sustain, or shitsuke. Some of the core benefits of 5S include a clean and productive workplace, the ability to easily locate or find items, low maintenance costs, minimization of wasteful activities, the creation of a safer work environment. Step 1. Sort, or seiri, taking out the trash. Sort. Remove what you don't need. The sort stage is the initial and most impactful stage of 5S. Start by selecting an area that needs to be sorted. Next, start segregating items into 3 main buckets. Red tag items are no longer required and can be removed immediately. Yellow tag items. These items may be required infrequently, but not all the time, and can be stored elsewhere. Green tag items. These items are absolutely required and will need to be stored at designated locations once the sort phase has been completed. Sort. Examples of 5S tags. Red tag, got to go. Green tag, the keeper. Yellow tag, I don't know. Sort. Checklist. Select a specific location which is going to be sorted. Carry a stock of red, yellow, and green tags. Have a smartphone or camera handy to take before and after pictures. Make sure the 5S SEAL team or deployment team is aware of the plan. Commence sorting. How to sort things. Decide what you need. Remove all clutter and throw away unwanted materials. Remove items which are broken, unused, or occasionally used. Classify items based on frequency of use. Use visual triggers or stickers to visually classify and store items. Step 2. Set, or seiton, putting things in their places. Set. A place for everything and everything in its place. The set phase defines where things should be and why. Consider the following when deciding on the best locations for placing items. Location, location, location. Is it visually identifiable and easily accessible? Visualization. Consider creating outlines or placeholders to clearly identify the location of items. How to set things in place. Place items used most frequently closer to the user. All items must have a clearly designated location. Use tape or marker pens to outline item location so that they are visible. Utilize visual tools such as shadow boards, foam markers, and signs to enhance visualization. Step 3. Shine, or seiso. Clean thoroughly. Shine, clean thoroughly. The shine phase looks to keep a workspace or location thoroughly clean. The goal of the shine phase is to internalize cleaning so that removing clutter becomes everyone's responsibility. Shine, keeping things clean. Ensure that all items have clearly labeled locations. Use schedules to establish cleaning work rhythms. Clean area thoroughly. Use audits to ensure that the designated area is being maintained. Step 4. Standardize, or seiketsu. Defining standards. Standardize, or seiketsu. The standardize phase visually defines what good looks like and helps develop the standards of how we want our workspace to look, incorporating best practices into SOPs. Examples of standards include the use of colored tape to demarcate safe zones and hazard zones, or the use of one-point lessons to emphasize do's and don'ts. A standardized checklist should include the following. Ensure that there are visual standards of what good looks like. Standards must be visual and clearly labeled. Design and formatting of standards must be intuitive. Adherence to standards must be measured regularly. Step 5. Sustain, or shitsuke, maintain for the long term. Sustain, keeping it great for the long haul. The sustain phase is the most challenging stage in 5S and will determine how successful the overall deployment of 5S was. In order to sustain the gains from 5S, checks and balances such as regular audits and meetings have to be put in place to ensure standards developed during the 5S deployment are continuously followed. A sustain checklist should include the following. Ensure that there is a 5S control plan and a feedback loop post-deployment. Ensure 5S signage and visual tools are constantly maintained. Deviation from the 5S standards must be everybody's business. Conduct 5S audits regularly to get a pulse check on progress. Implement regular 5S communications, events, and training. An example of 5S applied to an office desk environment. Note the use of colored tape to demarcate location of items. An example of 5S applied to a workbench. An example of 5S applied to a warehouse location. An example of 5S applied to a storage location. An example of 5S applied to a warehouse environment. An example of 5S applied to a manufacturing facility. An example of 5S applied to a tech workbench. Note the before and after comparison. An example of 5S applied to a warehouse location. An example of 5S applied to an IT server room. Note the before and after comparison. 5S applied to a tool storage cabinet. Note the before and after comparison. Module highlights. The 5 stages of 5S can be applied in a variety of organizational and business contexts to create visually pleasing work environments. 5S has its roots in the Toyota production system and lean manufacturing, and hence can be the stepping stone for introducing a continuous improvement culture in any organization. The 5 stages of 5S need to be adhered to in sequential order in order to ensure a successful and sustainable 5S deployment.